2. We're going.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Btec Philosophers, episode 8, with me, your host, Michael Odewale. And you might have heard a feminine whoop whoop in the building.
It's me.
Yes, that's that's our producer Vito with his famous velvety feminine tones. But no, we have a new co-host at the minute because Phoebe, who is our regular producer, Phoebe Hopwood.
That's the name.
Phoebe Hopwood, that's the name you were given.
That was the name I was given and the one
That's the name you're sticking with.
Unfortunately.
She is our current co-host at the minute because Elliot is away. We are wooing him being away.
No, we're not wooing him being away, but I've prepared. I drank 3 beers and punched a wall on my way here.
To kind of get
into that
masculine,
headspace.
toxic, just unaddressed homosexuality energy that Elliot has. Because Elliot is like knee deep in the white at the moment.
Yes.
In terms of he's in Austria.
Of course.
Snowboarding and doing comedy. Yeah. And probably cocaine.
Maybe. That's unconfirmed.
It would be on brand, but we can't, it's unconfirmed. But he's away for this week. He'll be back next week. But we're good to have you on this side of the table. How does it feel?
Oh, it's weird.
How's it weird? How does it feel to be on this side
I
too?
can't hide behind all these screens. Like, if you get boring and I switch off, like my eyes just go dead. Like, you'll see that. Right.
I'll notice that I'll feel offended. And the podcast will also suffer because you will not know what I've said.
You can't see me falling asleep behind that desk.
This is true when I'm talking. So the minimum we ask for is you just pay attention during this
during this
recording.
A lot to ask, to be honest.
And for Torio, if you see any non-paying attention, just do a quick finger snap.
Yeah.
Just bring the room back. Just like a black applause. Just that, like a spoken word night. Just like a powerful.
So less of a sassy.
Just kind of like, just like supportive, like
supportive. Like I thought it was like, hey, get there.
Yeah.
Oh. No, just more like a supportive finger snap because claps are triggering.
Yeah, the hand wave, like
no,
I once got a
silent.
detention for doing that.
For doing what?
Silent hand clapping.
Why were you doing it? Was there a deaf kid in your class?
No. So we were told to do it in our French classes growing up. I think it's just because they were annoyed with they didn't want to hear the sound of clapping.
Okay.
And so I was just doing some silent hand clapping, also known as jazz hands, because they are interlinked. And we had a substitute PE teacher, didn't clearly understand the cultural nuances, and I got a detention.
Your PE teacher was upset with movement.
Which is
surprising.
Because
you could have been working the wrist fat.
Yeah. I was preparing myself for badminton.
Fat wrist these days, I've noticed.
Yeah.
They ain't working.
And as you can see by my wrist, it's quite thin.
If there are any kids listening and you are self-conscious about your wrist, there are support lines that we'll post at the end of the pod to kind of help you with that. But also feel free to just be fingerless. It's not fingerless, but just be waving.
Yeah.
Just to to support the fatness of your wrist.
Yeah.
How's your week been, Phoebe?
Oh, you said you wouldn't ask that question.
But you did have an event this week. You had you were
last week. Yeah. This isn't my first time hosting.
You obviously because you've been cheating on us with another pod, and you had a live show,
which I was doing before I started your pod.
Oh yeah.
So it's not cheating.
But we were like the new boyfriend that came in, and you were like enamored by us.
Yeah.
And
the hot saucy affair.
And the other
doing the things that Adolf won't let me do.
Yeah. We let you. Yeah.
You let me sit on this side.
We let you sit on the chair.
Yes.
That's and how was that? Did that feel good?
It was really good.
Kind of live comedic performance.
Yeah, it was really fun. What I didn't get is that I wore an outfit that I thought was a joke. So it was an all-in-one flared leopard print, like collar, zip up, all-in-one thingy.
Okay.
And everyone was like, "You look really nice. You look really cool." No one thought it was a joke. And I've played myself now to a point where even I don't know. So I thought that was a joke. Yeah. No one else did.
They just like, that's very on brand.
That's Phoebe, and they accepted it.
Because you were wearing like a green dinosaur.
It's an alien hat.
An alien hat. Yeah. And I saw that, and I didn't even bat an eyelid. I was just on really? Instagram. I just scrolled past.
That's part of a story, like a funny story.
Oh really?
On the pod, yeah.
We won't. Which
I'm not gonna. No. I'm not gonna say it.
But that's a very, I think that's kind of your style.
Yeah.
It's very that was a Vivian Westwood slash I don't know another name.
I feel like I've dressed as a watermelon today.
You saying this because you're quite purple.
Pink and green.
That's not. Watermelons are famously.
Look at the eyeliner.
Oh yeah. Okay, there's not enough green coming out.
Okay.
But I see what you did. It's very individual
Hints.
decision.
It was a hint of like a watermelon flavour. You know when you get flavoured waters? That's what I'm dressed as today. No, actually, no. Watermelon squash.
You're dressed like watermelon squash.
Yeah.
Too purple.
Purple?
You're too purple.
What, to be watermelon?
Yeah.
I'm a bruised watermelon.
You dress like Barney, if anything.
So rude.
And
I went from watermelon to like come out a dinosaur.
but then you also kind of have the temperament of Barney. In terms
Larger
of
than life.
larger than life.
Good with kids.
I've not seen you with children, but I imagine you would be.
I've had jobs with them. I am allowed.
You're allowed to?
Yeah.
And you're quite positive.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like you and Barney would respond the same.
Yeah. Doesn't he sing and dance around?
He
I'll do
does.
that when I'm happy.
Yeah.
Whereas you've dressed as, I don't know, what's on the top of your hat? What is that?
It's a logo.
Yeah,
that's
but
falling off.
Yeah. Oh.
That's all that says on my hat. But we kind of, because I dyed my hair recently.
Yeah.
I went blonde, so that I'm not really known for sort of making bold fashion life choices.
Really?
What
I
would you
beg
say?
to differ.
What would you say? What was that noise, Victoria?
The cloudy fleece.
I was going to bring up the cloudy fleece.
It's a fleece with clouds on it.
It's a statement piece. No, it's good.
It's not really like, blowing the waters out. Just a fleece with the sky.
It's a statement piece.
It's a statement piece.
Yeah.
Well, I would say my hair going blonde. That's my first real standing out in a permanent way, because I can always take off the fleece.
That's true.
You can always cut off your hair.
This is true, but I can't do it just out the random on the train. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, you could.
There's
People
a-
would judge you. But
There's
you
a
could.
degree of permanence too.
There's a degree of permanence, and I think that just comes with getting older, and you just want to make more. What's the word I'm looking for? You want to make more individualistic choices.
You want to stand out, be an individual.
You want to stand out and be an individual, and that is coincidentally kind of our topic of the week.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
You see how I got there so organically? Oh my gosh,
Thank you.
that segue right there. Ding. Oh, thank you, man. I've been waiting for that for a long time.
Yeah, Phoebe doesn't know how to do that.
You don't know how to do that?
I do know how to do that. I do know how to do that.
Do you-
and I
do you have-
often do.
Like the Charlie Sloth fire in the booth, just glass smashing noise.
No,
No.
but
Can-
we've got a Glockenspiel.
Can we? No, that's not really the vibe. Because I heard Glock and I thought that was a type of gun. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh no, unfortunately.
Do you have a gun?
No.
No violent sounds.
Only laughter and happiness here.
This is clapping. That's triggering. That's no finger snaps. That's no finger snaps right there.
I'm very sorry.
That's bad. This is a safe space. Okay, well, we don't have to go through the whole. We don't have to go through everything in there. But I kind of wanted to talk about, because the reason I wanted to talk about individuality is because I saw a tweet that you posted
I did.
on your story, and somebody was condemning the concept of individuality. They were basically saying that we've gone too far as a society, and then we need to we've become selfish beings. We don't care about the community anymore. We don't care about the collective, and it's kind of weird to see somebody criticizing that, because growing up as we've grown up in the West, we've kind of been told being an individual, that is the norm, that is the basics. You figure out who you are, you figure out how you fit into the world as a person.
Everyone says look out for number one.
Look out for number one, not the number twos. They're in the back. You look out for you first. And I've always been taught that is how you make your way in the world, figuring out who you are as a person. So as opposed to groupthink, as opposed to everyone's always like, don't be a sheep. But sheep, on the conversely, apart from the getting killed part, sheep live wonderful lives. They got there's grass.
Yeah.
They get shaved. They don't even have to be asked. They just get shaved.
I've got a question
Get to run around.
with that phrase, because everyone's like, "Don't be a sheep, be a shepherd."
Mm-hmm.
But if everyone was shepherds, there'd be no sheep to shepherd, and then your job would be, you wouldn't be a shepherd then, would you? Are you a shepherd if you have no sheep to herd?
I also if you're a shepherd, you have to do invoices and stuff. You have to negotiate. It's not fun. It's not nearly as fun as being a sheep. Again, apart from the part where you get turned into bolognese.
Would a
meat.
shepherd doing invoices be sheep accounting? Or accounting sheep?
I was wondering where you're going with that. That's pretty good. It's okay. It's not. It's okay. It's okay.
I'm giving him some.
You're gonna give me some finger snaps for that. But I wanted to know, like, because you posted it. So did you post that in terms of that tweet about individuality? We can bring it up.
Let me find.
But when you posted it, were you just trying to ruffle the feathers?
I was just seeing what people's thoughts were.
Oh, so you're not the type of person where you post something and that is what your belief is?
No, unless I've said it.
Retweets are not endorsements.
No.
That's what people say.
Yeah.
Do you know what I don't like about Twitter? People can just see what you've liked. You just what you've liked, and now they're judging you. Can I do that too? I judge people of what they like.
We used to have that on Facebook as a feature.
Is it really?
Anything that you liked, anyone's photos, it would come up. That was a great time. You could really see what everyone was doing.
Do you know what was the best time? And this was bottom of the barrel. You've scrolled through every social media that you have.
Yeah.
When people had visible top friends on Snapchat, so you could see who was getting with each other.
Do you remember the box in Facebook as well?
How was that a sign that you could see who was getting with each other?
Yeah.
So you would go onto someone's Snapchat and it would tell you the top 3 people that they had Snapchatted with the most.
Oh.
It was so exciting.
I never had Snapchat.
But they had that in the Facebook
So
box
you could
as well. You put your friends, you put your top friends in that Facebook box.
But Snapchat wasn't a choice. It was just the numbers of who, it was the stats.
Yeah.
So I'm going to read out the tweet because I got it.
Yeah.
I'm going to credit the person who tweeted it. Their at is Asian symbols. That's it's wait. It's not. I'm not saying that's the name of their account. I'm saying that
it does have it underneath.
Oh, but okay. Ung and Yung Undung G.
Oh, that's Vietnamese.
Is that okay? Asian symbols, like I said.
Yeah.
We're in the remit of the continent. So this could also that could be a sign of why they've tweeted what they've tweeted, because obviously East, West, we're more individualistic. Our side, East, it is more of a collectivism, be part of the community.
Did we speak about that on a previous episode?
We touched on it. We touched on it a bit, but now we're going
when
in.
You spoke about the rice.
Yeah, rice.
We're going in depth. Let me read out the tweet.
What's the guy's name? I'll get his whole Twitter up.
You want me to spell out his at?
Yeah.
UNGN.
Yeah.
YEO Dong G.
Yeah, I found him.
Individualism is rubbish. The individual is an entirely powerless unit. It cannot give birth to itself, cannot raise itself, educate itself, or change the world itself. It is entirely a product of the people and environment around it. To emphasize the individual is an error. To emphasize the individual is an error. It's basically saying, I guess, that no man can walk alone, but we've created this mindset. No person can walk alone, but we've created a mindset in the West that you can do that. And is that ultimately wrong? That, for example, the whole idea of a self-made billionaire, is that a fallacy, do you think, for example? Is there no such thing as a self-made? Let's say you're working class.
Well, the examples they give, though, is you can't give birth to yourself. No. You can't raise or educate yourself or change the world itself.
When they say you can't educate yourself, obviously you can locate the sources, but you're obviously reading somebody's work.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like you're using resources that have been made.
But you're forming your own opinion in that sense.
But can you say, you can say maybe you always have to give credit to some sort of hype. No matter what you do, you're using, let's say you're a self-made millionaire and, you say, I did it all by myself. You're still using resources that have been created, other people around you. You're driving on roads that have been built by taxpayer money. Do you know what I mean? It's very impossible to just say in a vacuum, I did it all by myself. Even if in a very, what's the word, literal sense, you can say I didn't have too much, I didn't have a benefactor, I didn't have nepotism. But just by the fact that you're using resources that other people have put forward.
That we're all part of.
Yeah. I would say it's hard to argue against that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I believe that we still need individuals kind of with the mindset to be to not think from the crowd and then help create something. Do you know what I mean? Because if we're all thinking collectively, maybe, it's not enough outside the box thinking. You need some people who are outside the box.
True. That doesn't mean that maybe it's where they're coming from, where they're thinking.
Okay.
Are they thinking from a selfish and individualistic point of view, or are they thinking for the collective? Maybe that's what they're talking about. Where do the motive for their actions come from? Well, Vittorio doesn't believe that. Wait, I don't know. What do you not believe? Basically, when I posted this, he just replied saying, wrong.
That's a great reply.
And then
I think I phrased it well when I replied.
Yeah, you did.
You didn't even need to give any context.
Can I just read out what you said?
Read it out.
Shall I do it in your accent?
Yeah, do it.
I can't do an Irish accent.
No, do it in the person from the original tweets accent.
Yeah, do it in the Vietnamese. Asian symbol accent.
Phoebe, don't
I'm
do
not
it.
going to. I'm not going to. To reject the power of the individual is cowardice.
You said that.
Yeah.
You said cowardice.
It says, a strong group is made of individuals all carrying as much as they can manage. The strength of the individual defines the strength of the group in the exact same way as the strength of the group defines the strength of the individual.
You replied that in someone's comments, that whole thing.
I replied
There's
to
more.
Phoebe.
Wow.
Both are important, but if we're honest with ourselves, we can only control one, the individual.
I'd never.
Profound.
No matter what, I just drop fire emojis in people's. I don't ever engage in what the. Yeah, fire. My grandma died. Fire.
At the cremation.
Yeah, just in girls' emojis, like, oh, without me, you know what I mean? But that's a pretty strong, fully formed opinion. You didn't just see that. You've had thoughts on this for a while, waiting to get out.
Yeah, I would say so.
Is that informed maybe even by your Irish background?
I don't know if it comes from an Irishness. I think sometimes being Irish, you get lumped into being like people defining you by the group you're a part of rather than who you are as a person, and I try to fight against that. I don't want to just be the Irish guy. I would much rather just be a guy. So it's frustrating when I get on stage and I have to address my accent. Because people assume things about where I'm coming from.
Okay, that's interesting. So when you do a gig, do you feel like there is an elephant in the room if you don't bring up, like pretty soon?
I'll bomb.
You should like. Is this like?
It's happened. I try every so often. I'll try and do a gig without addressing the accent, and English audiences will just look at me and go, "Does he know he talks?"
Like your fly's undone or something.
Yeah,
just
that. It's
wow.
It's something wrong almost.
So is that London based or just all around the country or just bigots?
More so in London. I think it's also because people struggle to place my accent, whereas like if you're Australian, people generally people know if you're American or something like that, or Scottish, like people can clock it immediately, but people haven't heard much of my accent, so sometimes they think I'm American, sometimes they think I'm Scottish, sometimes they think I am like from Liverpool or somewhere like that. So I think there's just something that some audiences as a group need clarifying.
So you reject the monolith. You don't like being lumped in. I mean, because some people, they find comfort in sort of being part of like a big cultural collective. Do you get any sort of?
It's scary to step out and define yourself by who you are rather than what you're a part of.
Yeah,
it's much scarier to do that, and people don't like doing that anymore.
But is it necessary to do that? Because like, if you're part of the collective, you don't have to figure out who you are. It's there. The thing has already been made. That's so comforting, isn't it?
But then the group says something and you go, I don't know about that, but you can't say anything.
Yeah.
Because it's scary.
Yeah.
But maybe we should just
I feel that
our opinions on how we feel with people in groups. Because, for example, if people are really racist, and then so often they'll meet like an individual person who they might have like persecuted against before, and then they're like, oh, well, I hate like all Irish people apart from Vittorio.
That never happened.
No, it's always the other way around.
Well, you get that phrase, you're one of the good ones.
Yeah. And
have you ever seen Daryl Davis? Do you know Daryl Davis?
Sounds familiar.
American black guy who's a musician, and he has converted I think it's a couple hundred people out of the KKK.
Yeah, I think I have heard of this story actually.
By befriending them.
Yeah, so he kind of got them just because one-on-one.
But that's because I think we respect the individual more than we respect a group.
Really?
in a way.
It's because it's a lot easier. As comedians, naturally, we generalize when we're talking about...
Have to.
Because, like, I can't, like, just pick people apart. I have to say, like, for the purpose of the joke...
Yeah.
Women be shopping. You know what I mean? I can't just be like, well, individual women did it. Women be shopping,
Yeah.
and because it works for the greater bit. Do you know what I mean? And do you be shopping, Phoebe?
I haven't shopped in a while, but I'm missing.
When you shopping,
Yeah,
you be
well,
shopping.
mhm.
When you get to shopping, you be shopping. And
I am a woman.
You are a
after
woman.
all.
Do you ever, like, as a woman, do that thing where, like, do you like being like part of collective womankind? Do you ever do that? I'm not like the other girls.
I literally said that the other day because I'm not very good at being like a girly girl.
Are you a pick me bitch?
Yeah.
No, I'm not very good at being a girly girl, so I was like stressing over the fact I really couldn't do my makeup very nicely. I've not kept my skin well
Yeah.
recently, and I was just like, oh, I wish I was more like a girly girl and paid more attention and cared more.
Yeah.
But I was too busy living.
I love this look.
This was better today.
watermelon
This was better
Barney look
today.
is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But collectively, you don't really like, because there's even probably a group of girls who subscribe to that. Like, we're not
Yeah.
the girly girls. So that even is a group in itself.
Yes.
Do you think as human beings we naturally kind of do like being in groups? Because even
I
as
think
an
you need
individual,
to find groups.
yeah,
Safety.
But it's not even necessarily all this idea of tribe things. I think it's because there's so much data in the world, like
Oh, wow.
like so many things that we could. What's it called?
Schemas. You have to compartmentalize things.
Yeah,
into-
you have to like make sense of it. You have to put things into groups
It's called
just so that you won't
top-down,
have to like.
top-down processing. So if I walked into this room and I did top-down processing, I'd go, it's a podcast studio, and then I'd go, it's got 3-4 cameras, a laptop, blah 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 blah. But then if I came in and went, right, it's got 1, 2, 3, 4 cameras, a laptop, some microphones, a table, curtains. Oh, it must be a podcast studio. So that's the difference. And autistic people often do bottom-up processing.
Ah,
Are you more of a bottoms up or a bottom down kind of guy?
I do the first one.
Mm.
I probably I just do, you sum it up.
Top down,
Yeah, you sum it up as soon as you walk in. You kind of get the vibe, and that seems to make more sense to me. I didn't know that. That's very interesting. Like I remember I was reading this book. I said reading it. I like the Goodreads.
You looked at the pictures.
Yeah, I looked at the pictures and I just read a couple of reviews called Sapiens, and it's like the history of Earth from the very beginning. So obviously, like from the very beginning, if you're not in the group, you're dead. You're dying.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like you got the group. The group's making the fire. You don't want to be outside the fire group because then you're in the cold.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's the way the world kind of was running everywhere until about. I'm so bad at history. I'm just basically gone from prehistoric cavemen to about the 18th century.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's
Blink of an eye.
small jump, and then that's when like you got like Picasso and like Banksy and them man there, and then they were doing like paintings and stuff, and everyone's like, yeah, we need to be more individuals because we like these paintings and we
Yeah.
want to be Renaissance people. So like Banksy, Picasso, and Michelangelo, they like basically just held a conference and like people, yo, just be yourselves.
All three of them together.
Oh, it was like an Apple type conference where they were presenting their paintings, and they were like, "Yo, just be Renaissance people, just be yourselves." And then that kind of started the individualist movement.
Do you think it's hard?
Is it that the group provides a level of comfort and safety and security that allows the individual to flourish?
I was about to
Drop that one more time.
bring up this.
Reload it. We're pretending we're on Fire in the Booth. Reload it.
The society had to get.
You've
to
never
the
watched
point
Fire in the Booth.
where
I was just doing a rewind noise for you.
Say that one more time.
the group provides a level of safety, security that allows the individual to flourish.
Okay, yeah.
So you need to find your group, and then within your own like collectives, there are individuals that can then flourish because you feel safe in your position.
And if you're not ultimately flourishing for the benefit of the group, is that a betrayal?
But if you live your best life, your best self, then you can help other people. You
But
cannot pour
people,
from
not everyone is.
from a cup that's not full.
You can't pull from a cup.
That's not full.
Right.
That's what
I mean,
they say.
you can.
You got to fill up your own cup and then top up other people's.
But you can pour if the cup
You
is not
can,
full.
but then you'll burn out. You must have your cup overflowing.
The cup will burn,
No, you will.
but I'm the cup. You have to make the metaphor work within
you're the liquid within the cup.
I'm the liquid.
I think so.
I don't know.
No,
Basically, your cup needs to be full. Your cup, everyone's cups needs to be full. Your cup, someone else's cup, like my cup's not full, but your cup's not full either, so you can't pour anything into me.
I found an article about the empty cup.
Wait, so if my cup
Sorry, Victoria, no one cares apparently.
If my cup is full,
yeah,
and then I pour into your cup,
then we've got a little bit each.
But then my cup's not. You just said my cup can't be poured.
Filled to overflowing, and then your overflow can fill my cup and fill me up.
Okay.
No,
okay.
Didn't mean it like that. But anyway.
So you have to wait until you're at your highest before you can help other people, is what you're saying.
That's what they say. But also to help yourself is a way of helping others. What's your article?
Well, it says there's a saying that's been on my mind lately: you can't pour from an empty cup. We often talk about self-care, but it can be difficult in a world that values hard work and productivity. While it's true that sometimes pushing ourselves can be good for us, we need to be aware of our personal limitations and aim for a happy medium. So you need to look after yourself, improve yourself, and if you improve yourself, you become a more valuable member of the group. If you work on your own skills, your own well-being, then you can contribute more to the group and improve the group.
That's true. To be fair, you can help someone else and not burn out, because some people thrive on helping others.
Yeah, so this idea, like, we got billionaires right now, and like a lot of them being criticized because they're not doing enough philanthropy. Do you know what I mean? You don't have to wait till you're a billionaire to be helping. I think, most people who are helping other people, they're not necessarily in the best financial situation. They're just like, I'm going to just help other people my whole way through. You know what I mean? So by the time you get to being a billionaire, you've probably exploited so many people already.
Yeah.
It's too late to help. Or your helping is superfluous or cover up for all the bad that you're already doing. I'm very bad at keeping the conversation on point, but because I was reading about this whole concept of pull yourself up from the bootstraps, right? It's very famous terminology about how the individual can work their way up from the bottom up. Then I was Googling that phrase, pull yourself up from the bootstrap. It started out as a joke because obviously it's physically impossible to pull yourself up from the bootstraps. So that phrase, it began in the 1830s as a joke, but then it's kind of been adopted by capitalist, individualistic people to be like, yo.
I feel like that's a metaphor for how everything's happening for life at the moment. Something sounds like a joke and we all just go, okay, and just carry on living.
And then we accept it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's quite interesting, like, because obviously if you're part of a community, everyone's wearing the same boot. It's not your own bootstrap. Everyone's in theory taking care of one another. Isn't that a kind of world to live in?
Heaven and hell, where you've got a banquet, but you've got really long forks to the point where you can't pick up the food. And they say everyone in hell it goes hungry, but everyone in heaven realizes that if they feed other people, then everyone can eat on the long forks.
Your metaphors are so beautiful.
Thank you.
There's another one where it's like the secret. What if the secret to eternal life is licking your elbow? But obviously you can't lick your elbow. But then we should all come together and lick each other's elbows.
That sounds like some really weird, dodgy orgy.
All right, big fork, bitch.
Yeah. Also, I guess.
Excuse me, big fork, bitch.
I like that. That was strong. You came in strong. I like it. I'm not mad at it.
The BFB, they call it.
BFB.
But I guess in a way, collectivism, in theory it sounds kind of nice, but I guess there's plenty of examples in real life of it.
Let's sum up. You need a bit of both.
We're not summing up yet because we're not finished.
It's a very quick
we're
podcast.
Not finished.
But so you need to be enough of a
strong. We're done. No,
we're done. I've got places to be with my big fork. I've got people to poke. How big is this fork?
It has to be longer than your arm for the metaphor to make sense.
So longer than just one arm or two, because I'm 5'4", so my wingspan is 5'4".
But one arm, because the issue is you can't.
Yeah.
But you can always hold a fork closer to.
Because if it's really big, you could just turn it round, and it's like.
But if it's too big, then if you turn it around, it's past your head.
Exactly.
But
so it needs to be longer than.
You can just put your hand further up the fork.
Yeah, these people are idiots. These people are absolute idiots. Maybe it's made of like really heavy material. No, because then you wouldn't be able to
It'd
pick
be
it
worse
up.
at the end.
Well, you'd have to pick it up with 2 hands.
I was lost just in the original metaphor, let alone
You
this
said it was
extended.
beautiful.
Yeah, I was just trying to move on. What I meant is like it was better than the cup one.
What? Why are you hating on my metaphor?
I just feel like they're so long.
The fork one, that was short. Well, no, it's long.
No, that
for the
was a
fork,
long one.
but-
Yeah.
Should we circle back to, because you were talking about sometimes you feel maybe trapped by the idea that, or like feel a weight of you're representing your community anytime you do
just
anything.
as a black person, yeah. I mean, of course, like I feel like there is that kind of monolithic thinking in terms of
You keep saying monolithic. What does it mean?
'cause I've heard that phrase used by someone before.
Well, it's basically when people say things like black people think this,
Yeah.
they're treating black people as a monolith rather
Man, we
than-
don't go camping. I don't, but maybe
Some people do. David Goggins does.
He's black. David Goggins? I don't know who that is. That's not a black
Does
name.
seem like you
See,
just
now
made
I'm
it
part
up
of
off the top of your head. David Goggins.
But yeah, there's I guess there's that thing where you feel kind of weird going outside of what you think your community is supposed to think.
But who are you worried will judge you for that? Your community or people outside of your community?
I guess that's the thing though, like a bit of both. Do you know what I mean? It's almost like you don't want to say something that's like too accepted by the whites, because then you're like, oh, my community is gonna be like, oh, he's a coon or something, depending on what you're thinking. And there is kind of that safety and sort of like a lot of things within the community are really beautiful, but then there's certain things where you don't feel that love, and then you feel like a bit of an outsider. I was watching a really good comedy special this week. Gerard Carmichael is a comedian, and he really, I don't know if it's a spoiler, but in his special he talks about how he came out as gay, and like he received a lot of love from a lot of people, but then just certain members within his family, like the black community, he felt kind of judged by, or it was conditional love, and he kind of addressed that. So things like that. And it's not, being gay, not just black community thing, lots of different communities where you would feel that judgment. But certain things that are individual about yourself, you would feel like you'd want that love from your community, but you don't get it. And that's, I guess, maybe when you start turning away and seeing the benefits of being a individual, I would say. But I think that's kind of like what you said, there's kind of benefits to both, because even within the collective, you do ask yourself like, well, who is in charge? Do you know what I mean? Like, who is leading this collective group of people and telling this is the right way to do things? This is how we've always done
But
things.
it's not. I'm thinking it's more like making a decision that's for the benefit of the community. So
But who
for
is
example,
doing that?
So, for example, COVID, wearing masks, because I know that's a touchy subject. Some people say that it didn't, but like we were told that was supposed to help. So the people that didn't wear it because they didn't like wearing a mask because they found it a little bit
My
uncomfortable.
freedom has been...
Not even that far. Just someone that was like, oh, do I have to? I've just done my makeup. I don't want to ruin it by going on the train. I'm sure I won't kill someone. But you don't know that. For the benefit of everyone, the moral thing to do in that moment was to put the mask on.
Yeah.
So they're saying which thought process is better there, individualism or community? Because also, what about this? I feel like Instagram, Victoria, what do you think about this? In the rise of the marketing of the individual, everyone seems to have a USP as a person as well. You've
Unique
all
selling
got to stand out. Everyone wants that blue tick. And like, the
Yeah,
extra
we kind of
stuff
have
and
to define
whatever.
ourselves. Like, oh, I'm quirky and I do one-liners. Do you know what I mean? As a person. Well, maybe if you're collective, you'd be like, you know what? I'm a good husband. I'm a good...
But couldn't you just be a comedian that's happy to like sit back and let people enjoy themselves? You make them laugh. Do you have to be the best? Do you have to conquer comedy?
Yeah, because you want to see your enemies fail and die.
Okay, you want to see your enemies fail and die.
I think, but that's what kind of comedy is quite an individualistic field. It's just
Very
you out
much
there. So of course, I think naturally there's that competitive element of wanting to be the best, and you want to kill on every night you're on. But at the same time, there has to be a balance. I mean, because you could end up collaborating with some really good group of people.
Some people don't think like that, though, do they?
Yeah.
Some people are like, no, I want to be the best. I've got Vittorio.
Do you think
No,
it
I'm
has
joking.
me?
I'm joking. But
I'll say there's an
I
element of
don't-
that within you, no?
Some element of wanting to be the best, but it's about.
I don't think you're like pull up the ladder behind you so that no one else
all.
can. No.
Not at all. And also, what you have to remember is, ideally, as much as the comedian is seeking validation from the audience, they're hoping to provide some kind of benefit or.
But
catharsis
you
for them.
need the audience as well.
Yeah.
You really need the audience so that you can then enjoy your experience. That's a very interrelation.
And they take
What's it called? Interrelational relationship.
Yeah, I think that's the term.
transactional, whatever. But I have said this on other podcasts, but stand-up comedy is the only art form where the audience takes the same risk as the performer. So if you say something that might be a bit on the edge, a bit controversial, a bit stepping outside of what the group might think, and only one person in the audience laughs, then there's two dickheads in the room. There's a comedian on stage and dickhead in the room who agrees or found it funny, and everyone else goes, look at those two dickheads. So at the same time as the comedian takes that risk to say the thing and put him or herself out there, then the audience members do the same to say, I agree, I understand that thought process, I know where you're coming from, and everyone's on the line, everyone's vulnerable and everyone's at risk, and you don't really get that in anything else.
True, but laughter is sometimes a bit of an impulsive thing that comes out, isn't it?
Yeah, ideally.
Because you do see some people laugh and then go, oh my God, I can't believe I just laughed.
That's the best laugh.
Yeah. Yeah, I think some of the best comedy is when you see a comedian say a premise and the audience don't quite go with it, and then you see them slowly explain it and give their justification, and it maybe the audience, if they still don't agree, they've come with you on that journey. Do you know what I mean? And it's like a community of like understanding where each other's coming from, at least. I think that's a really beautiful thing when I see some comedians do that. You know what I mean? So I feel like, yeah, there's definitely a collective element within that side of it that's very necessary. And I think if you're too focused as an artist on just trying to be, the best, you're kind of erasing that what is a beautiful side of the art form.
Because, okay, in a musical sense then, there's collectives, isn't there? And that's normally like a group of very good musicians or artists that have come together and they're all in their own rights, but that sometimes they jam together or they produce together or something, rather than a band where you can sometimes lose members in the band because they're just seen as the group. Like if someone said to you, what does the drummer of Coldplay look like? You would not know. I wouldn't know.
Could be Vittorio.
I think it's Vittorio. He is a drummer.
That's a Nish Kumar bit, isn't it?
Is it?
He said if he wanted to be anyone in the world, he would be the drummer from Coldplay.
Oh shit! Okay, wait. Let me use a different. Let me use a different example. Then.
I think if Nish was the drummer of Coldplay, I would pay more attention.
Yeah.
You wouldn't necessarily know because he's sat down.
No, but because it's a blend of white.
No, but you might not notice.
I would notice an Asian man.
Also,
his example was the drummer from Coldplay has been in Game of Thrones, in the Red Wedding, which is the most viewed episode of Game of Thrones, and he played the drummer at the wedding, and people still didn't know that it was the drummer from Coldplay.
That is a perfect level of fame, innit?
Yeah.
I mean, you're probably not getting as much royalties as Chris, but you're in the band.
Yeah, but do you need that much money?
I'd say you're all right.
You're doing all right. No one. What a wonderful life.
That would be the perfect life.
That's perfect level of just having a job.
Well, an example of that is like Daniel Kitson. Would you like a Daniel Kitson-esque career? Maybe explain who Daniel Kitson is as well.
Daniel Kitson is sort of what's the word I'm looking for? A mystical comic.
Cult comedian. Can draw crowds wherever he goes. But I guess like maybe to a wider British public, they might not know who he is, but he kind of has this very respected by his peers and has a very passionate fan base who'll follow him wherever he goes. And he has a community of people, small, powerful community of people. You always.
I think that's quite a lot of pressure. If you've got a very small but very dedicated group, rather than Coldplay, large following, but no one really following the drummer.
Yeah,
I'd quite like that, because then you can just get on with the rest of your day and not have to worry about necessarily whatever you're saying or doing. But if you've got a small group of people that are really following you, very dedicated, especially if they don't have jobs, you don't know if they're employed or not. You don't know how much time in the day they have.
And it's very interesting because you see this a bit with sort of woker comedians who've kind of they've built that sort of very passionate fan base, and then they say something that their own fan base no longer.
Ooh.
That fan base will come at them harder than anybody they've cancelled on behalf of the comic.
That's the danger of the group, isn't it?
Do you know what I mean? It's a very, I don't even know what you would call that. There's probably been books written about it or not, but it's almost like they're looking to pounce on mistakes.
They're like rabid dogs at the.
Yeah, and it's like you've created that monster. You are Mary Shelley.
If you set yourself
No,
up
she
as,
wrote the book.
You're Dr. Frankenstein.
You're Dr. Frankenstein.
If you set yourself up as righteous, you've a long way to fall.
Yeah.
Yeah, on either side of the divide.
You said that with such a straight face.
No, it's because
Set
serious.
yourself up for right.
Serious, Phoebe.
It's because I can't see his eyes either.
Yeah, because
Why not?
there's even like
Because Victoria's gone blind.
there's even people turning on Trump because Trump was like, "No, y'all should take the vaccine." That's more Bill Clinton impression, but he was like, he's like telling people to take the vaccine, and his own fan base is like,
Yeah,
the
they
vaccine, it's got AIDS in it and stuff like that. So they're very I don't know, it's very upset. You know what I mean? You could you know if you say a certain thing, your own fan base is going to eventually consume you.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But also, I think that's the Trump one is slightly different. But if you say something and you're righteous and whatever, and people follow you not because they like you, but because they like something that you believe in, then they'll turn on you. They don't care about you because they just care about your thoughts separate. They don't see you as an individual necessarily.
That's because you haven't stepped out as an individual. You've just towed the party line.
Is there any communities that you're a part of that you enjoy?
Here?
Just any.
No, I'm saying here. Comedy community.
Comedy community?
You enjoy
it?
I've been welcomed in. Well, I'm on the outside. This is the thing. I'm not an actual
job.
Yeah. I'm not an actual comedian. Yep. I get all the goss. Which actually I don't always. Well, okay. I do enjoy it.
Yeah, you love it.
No, I don't like it when people are mean about my friends though.
What are they saying about me?
They're just like, oh, why has he got a made up name? Did you like my one the other day? I liked Angus Thongs and Perfect Snogging.
What?
That's just a movie.
That's his surname.
Oh, that's my surname.
Oh.
No one can ever say his name.
Angeloni.
Yeah.
Angus Thongs. That's funny. It's racist, but it's funny.
Racist?
Yeah, it's racist.
It's a really problematic film, actually.
It's xenophobic.
Yeah. I'm not racist, I'm just xenophobic.
So you're not like any part of like, because there's some like weird communities, right? And it's like marginalized, but it's kind of like harmless. You know, like furries.
Yeah. Is that why you're
Who
asking?
are they hurting, I guess?
Who are they hurting?
I've got a little jade necklace on today.
Is that
That's
a furry reference?
Yeah. Well, no, it's a spiritually.
Not fairies.
Furry.
Furries.
Oh.
You know, there's people like dress up
Yes.
as like characters from Zootropolis and
Yeah.
and have
Who
sex
are they
with each other.
hurting? No one really.
Oh,
But it's also
I don't like
everyone if you think about it.
Everyone who has to,
I don't like.
or like My Little Pony, people like My Little Pony, and then they just,
What? Then they fuck it.
well, they just like draw fan art where they will be engaging in intercourse or just close relations.
So I find that weird because it's a kid's toy.
Yeah, but like, you know,
Nah.
it's just a pony.
No, but it's not. It's My Little Pony.
Would you prefer for them to grow up and be horses before they engaged in
Pardon?
Ponies don't grow up to be horses.
what?
Ponies
Wait,
are
what?
a different thing.
Ponies are different to horses.
What's a young horse called? A horselet?
Foal.
Oh, yeah.
What does a pony grow up to be?
Bigger pony.
Pony.
A bigger pony.
What's the difference? Is it thinner legs?
No, smaller.
They,
Ponies are just small horses.
do they
The
die
Shetland
and
ponies
collapse
even.
under their own weight eventually?
No.
They just be ponies.
No, that's a Shetland pony.
They die and collapse under their own weight.
I'm built
Sometimes.
like a Shetland pony. Very short
That's
legs.
very funny.
You do have very
He's got the
stocky
sweeping
legs,
fringe
Very
as well.
short legs,
very Mr. Tumnessy
but very long body and neck.
type legs.
Have you ever worn just a red scarf?
Uh,
Like a Mr. Tumnus reference, that one.
Oh, you,
Mr. Tumnus reference.
Mr. Tumnus from the. That's the second Mr. Tumnus.
I
reference
made
I've
the
heard
first
today.
Mr. Tumness.
I know, so I said, did he wear a scarf? I was yes-anding you.
Okay, sorry. I thought you were trying to usurp me.
No,
Okay.
no.
Sorry, I get mad at Elliot when he does that.
I'm not Elliot.
You're not Elliot.
I'm not
And just
Elliot.
forget that you're not Elliot. Damn it.
It's just another white person
Just
across the
another-
table. We all look the same.
It's just all Coldplay and Girls Aloud to me.
What group? Okay, what community are you part of where you feel part of the community and also an individual?
I guess maybe I'm a Chelsea fan. So
That's an interesting one.
So it's a football club, support them, but they also kind of have allegations of racism.
Yeah, they do.
And pushing black people off trains and stuff. So,
Wait, what was that one?
just in Paris after a game, they're pushing
Oh.
a black man off a train.
Right.
So repeatedly,
Oh.
he was trying to get on the train. They were pushing him off, and he tried to get back on
And
the
they
game.
did a song about
and they
it.
pushed him off,
That's
and then they were like, "We're racist and we like it," which is a small section of the fans, but it's allegations that have dogged the fan base for many years, despite our many black players that have played under the club. So something like that is quite interesting, because I'll go to Chelsea games sometimes, and I'm supporting the team, but then I still feel a little bit like a bit on edge. So it's weird things how sometimes.
So you can't actually enjoy the one thing that you go to enjoy.
Right, yeah. So it is still like I'm part of a collective, but I still kind of have an individual mindset of like I'm aware of what I am, where I am.
Is there any communities where you literally just become a part, where you're just where you're not an individual, where you are an equal part to everyone else that's an equal part?
It's interesting because I meditate as well. I do meditation.
Okay,
And
so you're better than us.
yeah, exactly. Because that's the thing about meditation. You can meditate with other people who do the same type of meditation, and it is a collective being of togetherness. But it's interesting because meditation you can do for yourself. You can do it to just try and be sort of a more productive person, more focused. But I think you do it to try and be a better person in the wider world,
Yeah.
to have more empathy for other people, more understanding. And I think doing it with other people as well and trying to convince other people to do it, I think it comes from a place of you want to create a better collective of people.
Yeah.
'Cause I feel like, it's a bit airy-fairy, but I feel like even if like 2% of the world meditated every day, like the effects I would have on the other 98% just by having that calmer, more positive energy, I think it makes for a better world.
So then you're thinking for the collective rather than for the individual.
I mean, not gonna lie, I do meditate like and pray on my enemy's downfall a lot.
Okay.
So I do that. But I think collectively, like it is kind of good because ultimately I want to be a better person for myself. But I also think because I think when I'm the best version of myself, I can contribute to the world and make it a better place to be in.
If no one else was on this earth, would you want to better yourself, do you think?
If no one else is on the earth.
Yeah.
No, not really. Why would
You don't think?
I'd probably be worried about my survival.
Yeah. True.
But in terms of like, for
If you
what
didn't
purpose?
have to think about survival.
So it's just me.
Yeah.
I guess not. I mean, like, because there's what bad could I be doing if there's no one to be doing it to?
But just getting better for yourself. So like reading more so you'll become more knowledgeable, writing so you become
But then
like yourself.
if you can't flex it on anybody?
This is what we've been trained to believe in a capitalist society, that any learning has to be for the purpose of productivity, but learning for the sake of learning is kind of falling.
Well, so I'm just
Also, what about
writing poems like a dickhead just for nobody to read.
This is true, right? Actually, though, because right, you would never. I think as comedians as well, you guys need other people's laughter. You need to have that confirmation.
Right.
Whereas
So I'm just
maybe
writing
other
and
normal
performing
human.
jokes to foxes and pigeons.
Well, yeah,
What?
that's the thing. That's the thing. So your job would no longer exist actually,
Yeah. Right.
unless you just constantly
No
did
job.
Netflix
I'm the only
specials.
person. What are you working for if you're the only person on earth?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Do you tell jokes to make people laugh or to make people think you're funny?
Oh shit.
Okay, wait, hang on. What's the difference?
I did both.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What's the difference? If someone laughs and then they go, haha, that guy's funny.
But why are you doing it? Are you doing it to make them feel good or to make them think you're good?
I very rarely take the audience into account.
That's good.
Their laughter doesn't, apart from the fact like I know it's supposed to be there, it doesn't do much for me in my soul.
There's a secret third answer where you tell jokes to make you laugh.
Yeah. I really don't even do that anymore. I look at my jokes
You
and be
even
like,
tell
that's,
jokes.
that's funny. I know it's funny. And then, like, I know it's funny. And then it's like, okay, yeah.
That's an interesting thing comedians do when you tell them a joke. They often won't laugh.
Yeah.
They'll go, that's funny.
Yeah, I guess because, like, just within the context of hearing it just one-on-one.
We've analysed it.
We've analysed
We
it
know
and
what it is.
the mechanisms and the mathematics of it. And we're like, yeah, this I can see this is humorous. I'm not going to laugh out loud to your joke in a coffee shop like a maniac.
Do you ever make yourself laugh on stage?
On stage, maybe like I'll have like, if it's not crowd interaction,
Yeah.
I just get weirded out when comics just like busting up over material that they've
Mike,
written.
I'm right here.
Just when Vittorio's laughing at a joke, I've seen him do it 7 times before. He's done it the same way every time. I'm like, what's funny? What's funny?
Because I freak out about that. I'm like, why am I laughing? But there's something about when the audience laughs. I think it's so funny that they think that as well. I'm like, you guys are all mental.
No, there is a surprise
That's,
where
that's
like,
a genuine laugh. I don't like it when comedians
Yeah, I'm not
do
fake
their
laughing.
fake laugh. But because sometimes, obviously, here at Vauxhall, we have the 2 show days on the Saturday. So someone will come in for the brunch and they'll be doing something and I'm like, oh, they've kind of laughed on set. That's nice. And then they do the exact same thing in the exact same place in the exact same way. I'm like, oh no, you've just learnt a bit and you've made people believe that you're having a nice moment, an individual moment with this audience, but actually...
Yeah, shared experience, but it's not.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's like a proper cackle, I'll find that weird. If it's like just a giggle along with the line, I mean, nothing weird about that.
It's not weird, but I guess
You feel manipulated.
No, because I do understand it. I do understand why you do it. But it's just like, it's a shame. Like once, when I was a bit younger, we went to see One Man, Two Governors on stage. Have you ever seen that?
No,
No.
James Corden.
I'm black.
Yeah. He wasn't in it, but yeah. Okay. But there's this whole audience interaction bit that they do where they like bring someone in from the, like there's a mess up on stage. They've got to bring someone in for the audience. She's like really embarrassed. It's like, oh, ha ha ha, it's so funny. And someone went to go and see it and it's a stage bit every single time. And it's just like, but it goes on for quite a while. And it's just like, that's such a large part of the show.
Okay, so that feels like a betrayal.
That felt a bit like a betrayal because they made it seem so genuine. And it was just so funny. Everyone was just like falling about, like dropping things or like feeling embarrassed. And it was all like, oh my God, we feel like we're in on this. And we're really getting behind this audience member for like stepping up to do this. And it was all a lie.
You know who's bad for that? Improv groups.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's just a trope, isn't it?
And it's just rehearsed.
Yeah.
Nothing is original.
But I do understand it because I used to do it at like when I did drama.
Russell Hicks is the best of us.
At just creating just genuine audience.
Moments.
Yeah.
Specific moments that just are what they are. And
Are in a room and letting it die in a room.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's what we had as a group together. And then we'll go to our graves and die knowing we had that moment together and it was just us. I think that's a beautiful thing.
That's really deep.
It's always nice when I would say like you've written a joke and you know they're gonna laugh, you know the bit works, but they might laugh at a bit that you didn't intend to be funny.
Yeah.
That can sort of break you out the matrix a bit.
yeah.
And I think that's a cool moment.
Here's a question. I just wanted to circle back to something where you were talking about kind of being a Chelsea fan and experiencing the racism. Because an interesting kind of thought is that racism is just a focus on the group rather than the individual. They're treating you as black before they're treating you as a person, as Michael.
Right, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So collectivism and treating people as groups can lead to that kind of exclusionary stuff as well.
Right, yeah. Just as a group, everyone else is just a group. Everyone else is just...
They lump all black people in together. They lump all white people in together. They lump whoever in together.
Yeah, I guess that would kind of make sense from a group mentality.
It's prejudice.
It's prejudice. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think... Yeah, I think that's like you kind of say, in summary.
Yeah.
In summary.
Are we summing up now?
I think we're kind of at that point where you kind of... There has to be... Do you think it's better to start as a default from an individualist mindset or start from a collective mindset? I think we're all naturally born into a sort of a collective mindset.
Mm-hmm.
I think you gotta think for everyone because you are also part of the collective.
Mm-hmm.
We are all one ecosystem working together. So you've got to think for the benefit of everyone, but also treat everyone as their own individual, like, lives, experiences and all of that, and then try to come to an understanding in the middle.
And then I guess to end, I would ask, how long do you think you could survive as a nomad?
As an individual.
Just like living.
So I've had the experience of being around people, and now I've got to go and live on my own.
Now you're just living off the fruits of your labor. You're in a forest somewhere.
Okay.
You've built yourself. You know, maybe you haven't even built the tree house yet. How long?
I've got to live off the land. I've got to fend for myself.
Mm-hmm. How long before
Bear
you
Grylls.
die? Bear Grylls it's not because he's a cameraman.
Good. Yeah, it's not very good. Where as well? Is it hot?
You're in Inverness.
Do I have factor 50 sun cream?
You're in Inverness.
But isn't there still sun?
In Inverness.
Okay, so the sun's not
Very
strong.
Rainy place.
I know, but
Is that all you need? Just sunscreen and you're good? You'll survive longer?
I think as a ginger, I would survive longer in most places if I have at least factor 30.
Do you know how to make sun cream?
I don't know. It uses like coral bleaching stuff, doesn't it? It's actually really bad.
See, you're relying on the group, aren't you?
Or you could get like eucalyptus from the tree and just spread that over.
Yeah, exactly. So I wouldn't ever survive on my own in this thing because I'm going to live off the land, which is also a collective.
Like that's Mother Nature. But I guess at the same time, it's still
It's organisms.
Mowgli did that, didn't he? In the Jungle Book.
He's not real, but yeah, that's an example of
How do you
somebody.
know? How do you know?
Because Rudyard Kipling wasn't Rudyard Kipling.
Rudyard.
Rudyard, the author of the Jungle Book, he was not
How would you pronounce his name?
writing a biography.
Is it Rudyard?
I think it's Rudyard.
Oh, okay.
I think it's Rudyard. But otherwise, I've been saying it wrong for 20 years. What about you, Victoria? How long you can last off the land?
4 days.
4 days?
I think I could do a week.
All you'd need is your editing app, and you could create.
As long as I can put out clips,
yeah,
we're fine.
How long do you think you could last?
Wait. I've got it on YouTube.
Okay.
Where are we?
Rudyard.
Yeah. It's Rudyard.
And we're going to end
You
there.
can just see yourself out.
Rudyard, he was racist anyway, so fuck
Yeah,
him.
probably.
No.
Oh, definitely.
Definitely, he was
Fun.
anti-Indian, wasn't he?
Oh.
The white man's burden. I think the white man.
Why are all of our ancestors shit?
Hey,
just
whoa.
Irish.
Yeah, I said
Our.
Our.
As in you.
Yeah.
Because us two, we're okay.
Yeah.
We're doing all right. I've
Well.
got Italian stuff. That's not great to the Somalians, but that's all right.
Mm.
And that's for another day. 'Cause I don't even know about that one. All right, man. This has been Btec Philosophers. Normally, if Elliot was here, he'd be promoting his festivals.
Yeah.
And as a good friend, I should do that for him. But fuck that. Instead, I'm at the Brighton Fringe next month. I still don't know the date, but when I get the date, I'm gonna let you know, and you're gonna come through because I've not written the show yet. And in fact, we're gonna edit that out. There's nothing to promote this week. Nothing's happened. Nothing's been going on. Nothing's going on. Phoebe, do you have anything?
No. Thank you so much for letting me on this side of the bench.
No.
I think I'm going to be put back and never to be wheeled out again.
I mean, hopefully Elliot will come back. But we
Hopefully.
appreciate. And Vittorio, you got 17 things.
I cancelled my Brighton Fringe show.
Oh,
Vittoria's
no.
not going. Nobody go to Brighton.
They tried
Nobody.
to charge me 200 quid to do one show to 20 people. I was like, you can go fuck yourself.
I've not sold any tickets. So I need to make sure I promote that. 'Cause that's probably the amount I've paid at the moment as well. Anything you want to promote?
Vittorio's podcast, if you're about VITT, good luck.
Yeah, find out. That's his one-man show podcast. And,
Yeah, I've produced some episodes on that one too.
let's not. We're
pretty
just
fun.
mentioning it a little bit. We're not doing the whole thing. This has been Btec Philosophers. We'll be back next week with original cast and a new fresh topic. Thanks for listening, guys.
Ciao.